Well, thank you so much, guys. I've given talks on this a little bit here over the last few years, and so I was really excited when they asked me to do this because this festival also has meant so much to me, and I really had no idea what to expect. I didn't know if there would be 2 people, 20 or whatever. So this is amazing to see you all here and wanting to learn some more. That being said, I came in with like a couple of different avenues that we could take this. And I love seeing so many fiddles right up here up front. So what I'm kind of thinking though is we might do a little bit of a balance. It's going to be maybe more presentation style. And the fiddlers, if you want, we can just sort of hang out afterwards. Do we have anything like immediately after this? What's that? There is a break? Okay. So as long as we're not like stepping on anybody else's toes, maybe, yeah, we can just hang out for a little bit, talk a little workshop, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so what I think I want to do is give you sort of an overview of myself, and we'll kind of go through my journey of how I got here today. And then I'm going to dive into, unfortunately, a lot of what Ty had just in the last presentation. Was anybody here for his presentation? Okay. Pretend you didn't hear any of that. It's going to be the same, but a different flavor. I just don't have the cute accent. I can do Scottish a little bit, yeah. But then they have a bunch of Scottish people here this weekend, so I felt super self-conscious. Anyway, let's kick things off here. So, yeah, that was an amazing introduction for me. I started just in 5th grade, Chelsea Public Schools, amazing music program over there. Honestly, all 3, band, choir, and orchestra, we just had these powerhouse teachers. And the Chelsea House Orchestra was the group that I started in, and it was created because there was another group called the Celtic Fiddlers, and they kind of had something going a few years before then, and now there's groups like this all around the state. You've got Go Talk here in Grand Haven, you have Mona Shore's Fiddlers in Muskegon, and they all know each other, which is the directors, which is awesome. And that's really what it's all about in the end, is just kind of sharing that. And what I'm going to talk about too is the best part for me has been knowing that there was something outside of classical music. That's what I did. I was, from 5th grade all the way through my senior year. I was in symphony orchestra in high school and all that. So I come from that background. And a really, really good friend of mine, Diana Ladio from the Moxie Strings and the Elders, she is one of our biggest proponents out there for getting outside of your comfort zone and knowing that you don't have to just play Tchaikovsky and Vivaldi for the rest of your life. And also, it's super competitive, flying around the country for these auditions, maybe that you get in. Or you could just funk around like a bunch of college kids, and start a Celtic band, which is kind of what I did. So I was in Cho all through high school, and Carly, my co-fiddler, there she is, Carly back there from Crossbow. Half of Crossbow is here now. That's great. No pressure. It was honestly so Carly was 2 years ahead of me, and she was already at Grand Valley, and I knew I was going to be going there, and I just was not ready to give up on the Cho music. And so we were there, and her cousin Claire, our guitar player, she said, I can play like 3 chords on guitar. I will help you get started, but you need to find an actual guitar player after that. And, she met her husband in the band, so we kind of snuck her in to keep her that way. And that was honestly just how we started. I do have, let's see if this will actually play. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is the Chelsea House Orchestra. And those of you who were nodding your heads with Go Talk and Mona Shore, like, you get it. So this will probably look very familiar to you. We had just the best time. And it was a way to boost the orchestra program, because the rule was you had to be either in the band or the orchestra in school to be in this extracurricular group. So you'll see little Steve in there a couple of times. But we got to go to the Grandfather Mountain Highland Games, North Carolina. And we were at the Alma Highland Games here in Michigan. We got to be almost like minor celebrities for a weekend, and that was where we got bit with this music bug and showing that, yeah, you can actually do this, and not just in a classical setting. And it's a lot more. Oh, there's Diana Ladio right there on the left from the Moxie Strings and Elders. So yeah, it was just an amazing experience, which then led to, we'll get couple pictures here going. These are our very first early days. And so that's us on Grand Valley's campus, if any of you are familiar with it, the Blue Link structure, because it's a free speech area. So you could just go. And that was literally all we did. We'd meet in a practice room. We knew 3 songs, and we'd be out there freezing our fingers off. So you got Carlene, Ethan, and Claire. And that's, if you were here on Friday, we paid homage to our really good friend Tyler on the banjo there, who we lost unexpectedly last year. But yeah, those were the days with those white tennis shoes and jeans. That's great. But it was a very interesting sort of trajectory for us, because we had a St. Patrick's Day event here at the pub in town, and that was where we met Tom Schaub from the festival. And so that was way back in 2013, and we were just a bunch of college kids just trying to have fun. We never have tried to, like, quote, make it with the whole music thing, but we learned so much from this festival, from other musicians, what it takes to actually make it in that world, and we were very content with where we were. And so we all have day jobs. We're all over the place. We have IT, securities people. We have people who work in schools, teachers, sound design, electrical engineering, marketing, all kinds of stuff. Claire, our singer, is actually the only one who was a music major. So the rest of us, that's kind of our thing, is like, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're just here to have a good time, which is kind of what the Celtic genre is all about. So yeah, things just kind of exploded for us after college. And if anybody would like to talk afterwards, like if you're interested in starting a band, kind of what that looks like, we can for sure dig into that a little bit more. But, all right. So changing over, if you have a classical background, the first thing that I always tell people is that the rules are more like guidelines. And so, yeah, there are some things that you absolutely need to follow, but it's way less strict, and it's way more expressive. You're carrying on traditions hundreds of years old sometimes. And so yes, come back. My favorite style is crunchy, and I think that also came from being in such a large group. You saw in the videos, Cho was about 30 members on average each time, and couldn't always hear myself, but like it fit in perfect with the fiddling style. So there's a lot of nonverbal communication, and if you were in here in the last presentation, Tig had a great demonstration of that. Like in a session, there's a lot of just looks that we give each other as musicians. And were any of you at our show just like an hour ago, you probably saw a couple of looks between us, because even though we've been playing these tunes for years, some of them, or that we've been playing with each other for years, there are moments where it's just like, what did you just do? That was not correct. Looking at you, Joe. I know you did. So there's obviously the communication between us, but then there's also with the audience. And so a lot of the most common ones are like dynamics. And so, I mean, we could, like in an orchestra, it can be kind of stuffy feeling sometimes, right? Because they're up there and, they're just sitting and they're playing the music and it sounds great. But what we do in our genre is, like for dynamics, if we want to get quiet, we also, get down low, right? And it's just sort of those little visual cues that helps just elevate the performance overall. Okay, so little audience participation. I want to know who has the best answer. If you know the answer to this, what is the difference between a fiddle and a violin? Oh, you just won the competition with that one. Say it so everybody can hear it.
A violin sings and a fiddle dances.
That is great. So, well, you stole my thunder on that one. You got one?
Yeah. So you're bringing a violin to a pawn shop to sell it, and the guy at the pawn shop says, "Oh, we buy a lot of fiddles, and we sell a lot of violins."
Anybody else have one? No? Okay. Well, those were both great answers. And as it happens, I do have a sticker that says that very thing. A violin sings, but the fiddle dances. And here you get a koozie for the ale of James McPherson. Well done. You just saved me like 5 minutes. Now, of course, there are a lot of other great ones out there. Some of my favorites include about $10,000. A violin has strings, a fiddle has strings. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them out there, but really what it comes down to, the honest answer is there is no difference. So if somebody's trying to sell you a genuine fiddle, you're getting took, okay? There is no such thing. A fiddle is just a violin with attitude. It's the style that you do it. It's the emotions that you bring out in it. And then sometimes it can even be just the ornamentation that you put into it. But yeah, we're gonna focus on Celtic, which obviously the biggest ones are the Irish and the Scottish, not the English. The door is right over there. You may leave at any time. Okay, so some of the terms, anybody familiar with what you're seeing on the screen right now? Have you guys seen those before, some of you? Okay, cool. So we'll just go over them very briefly. The most common ones are the jigs and reels. Next level is kind of the Strathspeys and Airs. And then I said the word ornamentation. Those are, like little fancy things that you add into there that might not always be on the sheet music, but it just gives a little extra flavor, a little extra life to the tunes that you're playing. So those are like the cuts, turns, and rolls. More styles are double stops, and then I'm going to talk about what I call reel bowing. I think there is an actual method and science behind this. I don't know it. I'm faking something that's pretty close. So I'm going to give you the Steve Lasko version of reel bowing. All right, so we'll start with reels and jigs. The jigs, those are dance tunes primarily, and so they especially were used like in Scotland, they'd be used with the army to keep them kind of in shape. And so have you ever seen like Scottish dancers with the swords on the ground? That came from those kind of traditions. The soldiers would actually dance around, and they would need a fiddle player or a concertina, someone playing a tune that they could dance to. But the jigs are in what we in music call 6/8. Okay, and so that means that there's going to be 6 beats in the 8 count, and so they're very bouncy feeling. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, like that. Okay, this one that we have here, this is one of the first ones that we teach young fiddle players. It's called the swallowtail jig. I'm just gonna play it a little bit, but so you'll hear like the real bounciness in it, right? Thank you. Well, I hope that's good. You've been in the band for 7 years. It's about time. I've been meaning to talk to you about that. But I saw a couple of you already started bouncing your toes. You were nodding your head along to it. It has this really nice driving force. And so the jigs have become especially popular in Ireland. But they kind of started in the 16th and 17th centuries in Scotland. And it wasn't until the 18th century that Ireland really took it over. But now, like, if you think about any kind of St. Patrick's Day, anything, but radio ads, TV commercials, like that kind of stuff, they're almost always going to have an Irish jig that diddly-dee, potatoes, like that kind of thing, right? They've kind of hijacked our culture here, but that's fine. Anyway, so yeah, those are the jigs. I think, was there anything else on that? I don't think so. Okay, so we'll move on to the reel now. Reels are in 4/4 time, so they have a bit of a straighter feel to it. I guess the example I'm going to use this is called Farewell to Aaron. This is in our closing set, for those of you that were just at the show, the one that we call Incredibo. That's our big finale one. So this is one that Carly and I do where we start slow and kind of speed it up. So I'll just play it a little bit here. You'll feel the difference because it's in 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's usually like a real strong downbeat on the first count. So it'll be like... Yeah. It's like you guys are in the band or something. I know, it's like triggering for us almost. It's like, go faster. Yeah. But that's the best part and the fun part is that's our version to do that kind of speed up thing. You can take this and feel free to take pictures of it if you want to play this later. But you'll also see my bowings in here, the slurs. All of you fiddle players, you'll recognize that. That's what I'm going to talk about in a little bit with the type of bowing that I do with it. Okay, I need to speed it up here a little bit. So Strathspeys, these are very Scottish. Now, one of the main differences between Scottish and Irish fiddling, the Irish tend to use a lot of ornamentation in their playing hand, their left hand. We'll talk about that in a second, whereas the Scots are a little bit more regimented, kind of military-esque in their traditional style. Okay, now I'm not talking about like the modern stuff like what Old Blind Dogs and Scaryvore are doing, but so they do a lot of stuff with their bow hand. That's where the rhythm is coming from into that. So the Strathspey is something that you don't always hear. It's very marchy kind of sounding, and this is actually the tune that we play right before what I just did in our last set, because most commonly you will start with a Strathspey and then go into a reel after that. So if you're not able to read treble clef, this might look a little intense, but those dotted quarter notes and then the eighth notes and then the 16th notes, what that sound does is I guess I'll just play it to kind of show you. So this is King George IV, and it goes. Okay, you see what I did there? So that's going back into the reel then. But yeah, so that was also like a little bit bouncier, more Scottish military than what like we would do in Crossbow. We soften it a little bit, but that's more traditional how it would sound if you were doing a Strathspey, like in a Scottish fiddling competition, which are super intense, and everything is being totally put under a microscope. All right. Oh, and then airs. Airs are the really slow, lovely, pretty ones. One that we do is the McPherson's Lament. So if you've seen our show, the one with the Scottish story that I tell beforehand. But so they usually have a story that goes behind them. They're very pretty, and they can be sung as well a lot of times. But so I'll just do a little lick of McPherson's. So it'd be like... And there's more that goes on, but I don't want to take up all of our time with it. But so you heard what I call flicks at the end. I'm sure there's a much better term for that. In the fiddling, that really comes from the pipers, because bagpipes, the way they work, they are one breath of continuous air coming out, okay? So they can't do the same pitched note back to back. So they would not be able to do something like this, right? Because it's all one thing. So the way they get around that is they flick the note above or sometimes below. So it'd be like... And so you heard me do that a little bit. If I were to do that lick again, from McPherson's. Like that, instead of doing... So it's just, that's like one of the easiest, tricks in the book that, you could just throw that in, and then it sounds super Irish. This is not a tune. I'm just messing around. Right? Sounds Celtic though, right? So for you fiddlers right there, I mean, that's just little things you can do. And it's just bringing in your own emotion to it. What does it make you feel it? And that's your own style. Okay, so the cuts, these are especially found in reels. These are a lot of fun. And like I mentioned in Scottish fiddling, they do a lot of stuff with their bow hand. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate this here in just a second. The Irish fiddlers would do it with their left hand, and I'll show you that as well. But so, what tune is this? Oh yeah. Brenda Stubert's. This one's really fun. So, to do a cut, you're just doing, I'm going to do it really slow. You're doing 2 notes and then a long one. 2 short and a long. Okay? Just like that. So the way this tune goes, it goes. Let's try that again. All right, thank you. So, gonna kick you out. Wait, and so all I'm doing right there, sometimes it's called a shake, because it happens so fast, but it just gives you, instead of just doing, because that's the exact same amount of time and space that you would be using, but we're just doing. With the Irish, now I will fully admit, I have never been good at them. I'm trying to learn them. I'm trying to get better at, they call them turns and rolls. And in fact, I think that is next. Yeah. So in the Irish, again, I was mentioning you do it with your playing hand. So the way you do it is, let's say my first note is an E, first finger. You go up a note, down a note, and then down again, and back to your original. Okay, so on a trajectory, it goes like up, all the way down, and then back to that note. And when you do it really fast, it should sound like just like that. That's the best I could do. So I'm going to show you on this. Let's see if I can do it. So do you hear it right there? And so it's insanely fast. And if you've heard any of the bands here this weekend, a lot of them do that, and they're just absolute pros. I don't know how they do it. It's black magic to me. But this is the best part about coming to this festival then, is just sitting there and getting to watch and learn, and sometimes getting to talk to them as well. This is Hannah Harris. Did anybody get to see Shannon Lee this weekend? Yeah, we got one person. Awesome. So they're kind of newer on the scene, but Hannah has been in our circuit here for a long time, and she also does. Oh, I don't have the volume on. But if you watch her fingers, at least you can kind of see it. See, I can't see my mouse. All right, sorry, Hannah. Oh, hold on. Almost. It's not going to come out. Oh, well. Anyway, you'll just have to catch Shannon Lee the next time that they're in town, because they are incredible as well. Okay, double stops. This is super, super common in all sorts of fiddling, and that it's not just Celtic or Scottish, Irish. It's bluegrass especially, which is just, a descendant of the Celtic fiddling style. But double stops are basically just playing 2 strings together on the fiddle. Very simple. This actually took me a little while to learn that it is important. You should know like what the key is, what the chord is at that time, because there were times where I was like, it's an open string. It sounds good to me. And that doesn't, sometimes dissonance is okay. Most of the time, it's not. But anyway, the way the violin is shaped, like a crown right here on the bridge, that's what allows us to do 2 at the same time. And so I love double stops. When you watch us play, I do those all the time. So with that, thank you. That was a mixture what I was doing of open strings and then hitting the chords, and so that's just something that kind of comes with time. If anybody plays mandolin, that's a great way to learn, what chords work and what your fingering should be, because mandolin is just a fretted violin at the end of the day. It's almost an identical instrument. Obviously, you play it in its own way, but it's the same strings, just twice as many, and they have frets. So they're kind of cheating with it. That's fine, whatever. Oh, okay. So the real bowing that I was talking about, so for you fiddlers, this is something that I've just sort of adapted. It's helped me kind of memorize tunes a lot faster because it's a rhythm that works for me. What this particular bowing with the slurs, it's you do a down bow on the first note of the eighth notes here, and then you slur the next three after that. And what that does is it gives, again, that really driving force. I'm going to do it straight first, or actually I'll do it the way that it's written, just so you hear what it should sound like. So with this one, but now if I was to play it straight without any of that slurring, it feels very robotic, almost like a MIDI music program is trying to play it back for you. It'd be like... It messes me up, honestly. And so I feel it takes a lot of the life out of what you're playing. And so by doing that, it gives you a natural accent. So it almost forces you that you don't want to get caught where you don't have enough bow. You have to get to the tip of your bow so that then you can do the full slur with all three notes and have enough time and space for that. So it gives you that natural down bow action, and then it just kind of you could all feel it, right? Like you feel that first downbeat and you start nodding your head to it. Plus, I mean, if you have any European ancestry, I feel there is something in our DNA where it's just like you can't not bob along to this music kind of thing. So that's real bowing. Okay, so yeah. I guess my final, let's see, how are we doing on time? Oh yeah, we're right there. So my final thoughts and tips, just the best part about this genre is it's such a family feel. I mean, because the music gets passed down through generations, especially. And I mean, we have so many musicians here where their parents got them started, or they could have been the famous ones in the family, and they've carried it on. It lives on in this community where we all know each other, we all help each other, we join each other's bands as needed. But it allows us, especially like in Crossbow, we're not trying to go full time, like I said, and it allows us to get to do some amazing things. And yes, you don't just have to be in a rock band or in a symphony orchestra, a marching band kind of thing. There are other styles out there. There's jazz violin, actually, so that's something you could look into. I struggle with this one because I was the one who was the main culprit when we first started. Faster is not always better. But we sometimes forget that or say, I don't care, and we're going to go fast. If you've seen our shows, we like the tunes that speed up over and over because it's just so much fun. And the best part about the fiddling music is like, it is your style. It's your expression. It doesn't matter if you're playing exactly, the way that it's written on the page, as long as you guys all on stage or in your session are on the same page and you guys are doing your own thing. That is now your version of that song. That's the beauty of it. So nobody's gonna, say, Tchaikovsky would be rolling over in his grave right now if he heard you on that E sharp. It's like, okay, it's an E sharp now. It's the Crossbow version. And then, I don't know why, that must have been left over from another presentation. The most important notes are always at the beginning and at the end. And for us especially, sometimes we're just having a weird day, and our show is not going the way we want, but it doesn't matter. Because as long as you start strong and you end strong, you show everybody what a great time you're having and why we love this genre so much. So I think that's pretty much all I got right now. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm Steve Lasko. Thank you. I hope you had a great time at the festival. Of course, before we all go, did anybody have any questions they wanted to ask? Oh, we got one back there. What you got, bud? Might need someone to translate. Yes, absolutely. When we wrap things up, just have them come up here. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. Oh, the vibrato. I mean, I think we started learning it in 7th grade. They really didn't bother. They just wanted you to get the fundamentals of the instrument first. And then, it probably took a solid 2 years. And I'll fully admit, I kind of cheated at first. So what she's talking about is vibrato. It's when you do nice long notes. You know, it's that kind of shaking, and I think that's what it actually means, right? To shake. And so the exaggerated version of it is you are literally just doing this with your wrist, going back and forth, because the violin, since it's not fretted, every little minuscule movement you make will change the pitch. That's why there can be some really nasty sounds sometimes. And why it takes so long to actually figure out, because it just becomes muscle memory, and you know, once you get your anchored finger, then where the rest of them need to go. And so what you're doing is just really... And you just speed it up as you get more dexterity in your fingers. I used to lift my fingers up and down like that, and you see my pinky would like wave at people like that, so I'd be like... So that's all it is. And so you're just going back and forth really, really fast. And that's just another way to bring more emotion to it. Great question. Anybody else? Anything? No? Okay. Well, lovely. Thank you guys so much. This was awesome to have so many of you here. Please enjoy the rest of the festival. There's lots of stuff to see. Thank you.